I got these things. These things are awesome.
Hey, you
Yo,
want
is that
to?
the rock? Is that the Rocks drink? How is
I
that, man?
didn't, so I didn't even know The Rock owned this.
Is this the official plug?
No, I tweeted at them
Give
to
us
make
a
me a
sponsor.
sponsor. I asked them
Give
to
us a
sponsor me. So I didn't know it was The Rocks, to be honest. I saw this and I was like, because I just go on Amazon to grab my stuff from, and they were on Amazon. And there was another brand that I used to grab on Amazon, but I've been kind of falling out of it with them.
Hmm.
So I was like, what else is on here? And these guys had pretty decently priced ones.
Yeah, he just announced it on Instagram that they were coming to Canada, so it's pretty recent.
So they've been
Yeah,
on Amazon for a good part of the year. So I've been getting them for months now.
Oh, really? I thought they weren't in Canada yet.
No, like Amazon.ca, I've been able to order cases for a
Oh,
while.
I didn't know that. Maybe it's kind of in store. I remember him announcing that on. Maybe it was an old
Yeah, so I didn't.
an
That's
old
why I
reel
didn't.
or something.
So that's why I didn't even know it was a Rocks brand until I like got the
Yeah.
shipment and I looked it up. I'm like, yo, why is the Rock in all the friggin' tweets? And they're like the big XFL sponsorship. I'm like, well then now I feel like a basic little.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about? It's about nothing. It's about nothing.
Just want these guys to know you got another thing coming, bitch. I'm still around.
It actually tastes bomb. That's why I started grabbing these. They taste bomb. They're pretty healthy.
He's on a run, eh? XFL, tequila,
I mean,
this stuff, movies. He's doing well.
he had the greatest glow up post wrestling, I think, overall. You think? I don't think anyone saw the trajectory of his career after like WWE.
I think he shed. I think he shed his persona as a wrestler. Like when you say
Yeah.
Rock, I think the people that are fans, but people that are maybe not into wrestling don't even
Recognize.
realize. Yeah, it's more all the movies he's done and the celebrity that he is. But
Do you really think that
Yeah.
overshadows The Rock? Like The Rock is a wrestler. Like that's
no, I really I think there's a generation of kids out there that don't remember him wrestling.
because he
When did he leave? When did he officially leave?
Probably like early 2000s.
When's the
like
Scorpion King? Someone searched that.
2005.
When that stupid
it was like 2005,
Scorpion
I
King?
think. That he left.
Nah, it was before that.
Attitude Era ended around 2005, right?
Scorpion King came out 2002.
But Scorpion King wasn't. It was a breakthrough movie, but it wasn't like he left wrestling all of a
2003
sudden. He
was
kept
the
wrestling.
Final match.
When was it?
Mm.
2003.
2003.
When was his breakout movie?
2003, wasn't it? What you just said, Scorpion King.
No,
What
that
was-
wasn't breakout. That was
Oh.
that was a pretty bad. That was a bad movie.
I thought it was a pretty bad movie too.
What was this movie?
Scorpion King.
Scorpion King.
It was like a whatever
yeah.
movie. It was a popcorn movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest.
Let's-
Yeah, I want to watch The Apocalypse now.
I mean, he had. Let's see here. The Rundown was 2003. Walking Tall 2004.
Walking Tall was pretty good. I like Walking Tall.
That was a
That's
good
when he got a
movie.
nice series. Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
was
maybe that was when everyone's like, okay, this guy's
He's in this
Hey,
acting thing for real.
Faster 2010. Tooth Fairy 2010.
Fast and the Furious, I think, is really what put him on the map overall, grand scheme of things.
Yeah, Snitch 2013, and then Fast and Furious. Was he in the 2009 one?
He was
Does
in
that
all.
sound right?
He was in all of them once he started, except for this recent one when he started beefing with them. Him and Vin
That was in
Diesel.
yeah,
And these are beefing?
Yeah, they started beefing after
the last
he,
one. Or,
because Rock went
Yeah.
and did his own Fast and the Furious, and he didn't involve the Vin Diesel and these guys. And Vin Diesel also like commented before that he thinks Rock's kind of a drama queen, and like there was like this whole like public bickering and stuff, and then Rock was just like, you know what, I'm not going to comment on this stuff anymore. I'm going to move on with my stuff. And then last Fast and the Furious, they really try to get Rock back in it, and he's just like, nah, I'm done with this franchise. I'm moving on. We got bigger and better things going on. And it was I think what Rock did, I remember reading up on this. It was him and Kevin Hart. They were really quick to jump on promoting the movies via their social medias, like well into the movie's production. So before the movie even gets announced, they're like, guess what movie we're going to be working on? Guess who I'm working on? And they kind of take you throughout the whole movie's development with each other, that the movie was already overhyped before it like actually released an official trailer. And they were just talking how big The Rock's social media and how big Kevin Hart's social media game were. That
yeah,
people
so
wanted them
people
on their
already on
projects.
it, yeah.
Like they were able
Well,
to
he-
promote beyond.
Fast Five was 2011.
Yeah,
So a while ago, man. Yeah.
Yeah, 11 years ago. Rock's been killing it. I've always had like this man appreciation crush. Not really a crush, but it's one of those. I want to be like the Rock.
Yo,
Man
for his
crush.
age, the guy's like.
Yeah, growth hormone, bro. There ain't
I
no
mean,
way. Come on.
Why does it even matter?
He's doing TK no tomorrow. It's
Why
fine. It's okay.
Why does it matter? He's not competing in the Olympics. Someone actually had this debate with me, or not debate. They kind of, because I was like, man, steroids is so bad. They're like, why? I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. You got to be natural. He's like, what? You friggin' trying to be Mr. Olympiad? It's like, yo, if you're getting old, why not?
If you had your kids, you're not like any competition, then why not?
Yeah, he's like, you're not cheating.
If there's a safe way to do it, why not?
There is like testosterone and all this stuff that is shunned in sport. If you're just trying to stay healthy, stay in shape, and want to put on a nice physique, like, why would you go through the hassle of being all prideful over that? They're like, unless you're in competition, it doesn't matter. And I was like, you make a great friggin' point. Can I get the number of your dealer?
Yeah.
Especially after you have kids, a lot of the stigmas around it.
So yeah, do they just go to the gym and be like, steroids?
Yeah,
Steroids?
TK.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd be open to I think after a certain age, they say you almost need testosterone and HGH to continue to.
Shinz is going to be jacked in the next podcast. Just
1 weekend. Man.
Just 1 weekend.
None of us actually ran in the marathon that we're supposed to run in.
There was no marathon. What marathon?
Yeah.
Did you guys get that email from the marathon? People were stealing water packs.
What?
Yeah,
no,
so
I didn't see this.
The Toronto Marathon just literally a few hours ago, and sent an email. They wanted to apologize because food was being stolen at the venue, the bottles of water, the water stations were wrong, barriers were set up incorrectly. Supposedly from an organization standpoint, it was a mess. So I'm kind of happy we sat this one out, boys. I think we made the right decision.
I think we're owed a refund. I think we're owed a refund for the lack of lack of organization.
I saw the email to me. Like,
it's for charity, bro.
Refund. Damn. Charity, yeah. Charity.
I applied for a refund. I was like, I took a picture of my foot, attached it.
Oh my God.
I was like, sir.
Please.
But it was funny because the people who I didn't think were actually going to do it actually did do it.
Oh, wait, really? And how was their times?
Oh, they did it within an hour.
No.
That's still impressive.
What, hour, 8 minutes? That's impressive for a 10K.
That's not within an hour, though. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with your words here.
Hold on, what do you mean?
An hour, 10 minutes? An hour.
That's still pretty good. And this is a person who's not a runner?
Nope. Didn't do any sort of training for this.
That's
no,
impressive.
he jogged it. Guggen jogged it. We're going to use his name, Guggen. He deserves it. I'll say his name.
Yo, kudos to him, man. I don't think I could do that. Kudos to him.
This guy pulled the ultimate Uno card because he'd registered the same time we said we were going to register, which we did.
Yeah.
And then Ranji was like chirping him for 4 months, calling him a bitch for not registering. And then last minute, when he knew Ranji wasn't going to do it at all, he's like, reverse Uno card, bitch. I'm in.
Yeah.
And then
kudos to him, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I can motivate him to do something positive with his life.
But hey, I said, look, man, you own this W. I'm not going to talk shit. I all praise to you because.
Yeah, I think we all took L's on that one. I didn't even have an excuse. I just said you guys aren't running, so I'm not running either.
I couldn't. I had a tournament.
I'm injured still. I still can't.
So I just didn't want to.
I just got to the point now that I can So I propose a new challenge.
Oh God, are we gonna keep this one this time?
I don't know. I'm not trying to build suspense. I'm really just trying to think about this one twice. Am I going to commit to this? I don't even know if I'm going to commit to it. That's why.
Are you running again?
Throw it out there.
What is it?
We all have Fitbits, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We all have
Apple Watch.
We all have some way to track it.
Garmin. Sorry, not Garmin. Yeah, Garmin.
So what about 100,000 steps by the end of summer? Is that a lot? Not enough?
100,000. What's the average in a day?
I do about 5,000
a day. So how would 100,000 be by the end of summer? Let's do the math.
I'm not good at math. I ain't a mathematician, sir. I use a calculator for this shit. Is that too little?
Yeah.
500,000?
If you're doing 5,000 a day, You do 5,000 a day?
Yeah. So 20 days,
Just do the math.
5,005. Man, well, this
Five
is the
times seven.
35.
Add 3 zeros. That's add 3 zeros. That's your entire week, right? Times it by 4. That's your month.
You don't have to break it down like I'm an idiot. Just give me a number. Like, what the hell? This guy's
100,000, not a lot. There you go.
all right. It didn't seem like a lot after when I did that. Said it out loud, but I
I'm
know
shocked that you did
Randy's doing about
5,000.
Randy's doing about 10K a day, I think.
I
You
have
did 10?
10K days, but not they're sporadic.
Okay, so 100,000 probably not. That's like
I've never even looked.
all right. Yeah,
This past week I was hitting like 16,000 a day, man. It was crazy.
actually, so the real challenge that I kind of wanted to suggest was golf, some sort of golf thing between us.
I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah, I'll do that.
But then I was like, yo, I think both you guys are way better golfers than me. I don't even think this is a challenge. So
No.
I haven't played and golf. Everyone sucks at golf.
everyone says they suck at golf until they freaking go to the golf field, and all of a sudden they got perfect form, and they start complaining about, I chipped it a little bit there, Roger. It's like, what the fuck does chipped even mean? I don't even know what these things mean. I just
And you
don't
bust-
think, huh?
That's the challenge you want to take on?
No, that's why I
Golf?
didn't. No, that's why I freaking tried to pivot as quickly as I could while I was having that brain freeze to 100,000 steps, and you kind of killed that by showing me that that's a week's worth of walking. So, anyways, another L for Shinda here. Moving quite along, talking about walking.
Yeah, come up with a challenge. just move on. No walking.
Look,
Why don't we just do a golf thing? Who cares? We'll have a day of it. Shinda can shoot some content while we do it anyways.
all right.
Yeah, there we go. Golf it is.
We'll do golf. It is, I guess. I probably need to go get.
Is this an open, or are we inviting other people that just want to beat us?
No, let's just keep it to us.
One less
one
number.
guest. One guest. We'll decide on one guest.
Yeah, we
Let's
need four. We need
We need
four.
four.
We need four.
Let's not pretend like we have enough listeners to hold a golf event.
Yo, let's get one really good guy.
One person who can film
Let's
the
get
who can
one
film the
really
event.
good person. Yeah, I'll get one really good person.
Of all the people that we listen to, we're gonna get people just wanting to come on just so they can shit on us. Just like, look at me, I'm better than all these guys.
Pretty much.
We need to find someone worse than us. That's the real thing here. But I think the golf thing would be a great, and we probably do 10,000 steps while doing it. So win.
All right.
I'm
done.
down.
You know what'd be cool is if we could do like a golf thing with custom rules. It's like who can, yeah, why complicate it? A fast round where you have like, yeah, I'm overcomplicating.
Like what?
Just regular-
Speed golf? Are you talking about like speed golf? Like you hit it and
Yeah,
you have
like
like timed speed
speed
chess
golf.
kind of idea? Yeah.
Speed golf. You don't get time to really like queue up. No practice swings. You just got to get done. You get bonus points for finishing the course fastest. But I don't really think that flies.
It
when's the
feels
last
like
time-
we still
when's-
have
when-
Top
when-
Golf here, eh?
Hmm?
Top Golf.
I heard we're getting one, but we don't have one.
Not yet. It's pretty cool, man. Have you guys been?
It's so much fun. I love
So
doing
much
this.
fun. It's amazing.
I've never been.
Yeah.
Why? What's Top Golf? Like I understand. Like I thought it was just a
It's
driving
like,
range.
it's like a driving range, but there's like targets and it gives you scores and what tracks your swing. And then, they have a little seated area around it. You order food. It's just,
like
it's just
bowling.
a good time out.
It sounds like bowling.
No,
but for
yeah,
golf.
yeah. It sounds, that's a good analogy. But yeah, it's a good time out. It's chill.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
no
I
Top
think
Golf,
there's,
but
yeah. It's, if it comes to Toronto, I think it'd be pretty good. Hopefully it does.
I heard they are, but I have no idea. It's not like Waffle House.
Waffle
We
House is
had
coming
that?
to
We
Canada.
didn't have
Oh
that.
no, we have IHOP now.
I hope so.
IHOP's been here for a while though, hasn't it?
We got the one in
Niagara and
Brampton,
stuff?
right? We got one in Brampton by the Applebee's. Have you guys ever been inside an Applebee's? Because I can't remember the last time I've been in an Applebee's. That's such
Hold
Hey, in the
on.
States,
Hold on.
I've gone to Applebee's in the States.
Hold on, where the hell's the Applebee's in Brampton?
There's an Applebee's on Steeles, right beside Cineplex. Where the Cineplex used to be.
Didn't it change over to something else?
Did it? All right, I need to get out more. I
Yeah,
thought there was
it
an
might be
Applebee's
me.
right there. That was like the weirdest.
Oh, that's an
little-
you're saying it's an IHOP now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they have an IHOP there, but
Does anybody actually like IHOP? I think we just go to Denny's anyways.
yeah, I've been more of a Denny's person.
When's the
Yeah.
last time you guys have done that though?
Cold.
That late night.
Proper
Oh,
Denny's.
No, not the
Hold
late
on,
night.
wait, did you
no.
ever go to
Just Niagara hockey tournament weekend.
Denny's?
late
Late
night?
night?
4 a.m. 4
What was the
a.m.
order?
That
What
was
was the
proper.
order?
Pancakes.
Buffalo
Burger.
chicken strips with ranch sauce.
Pretty classic.
Robbie approves. I remember in Ottawa, that was the go-to thing because that was the only thing open past 9.
Yeah, we did that washing day. I remember.
It was always the same thing. Apple crumble.
Yeah, we always finished off with that.
Finished off. What, are you guys having a 3-piece meal there?
We had big meals.
Burger.
We
Yeah,
finished off.
Apple crumble took up, I don't know, I probably spent way more on Denny's than I could have afforded in
Yeah,
hindsight.
Denny's can get pricey.
Especially when you're there
Yeah.
for a long time. But
So you
Yeah,
were
I used to go to that one on Queen all the time before it moved. So I guess where that protest restaurant is.
legally.
And there was always that one guy working there, and it was like 10 years. It was the same dude working late night.
I know he's
I've
high
always
about.
wondered-
That's
who I'm
the
talking
South
about?
Indian dude. The South Indian guy.
South Indian dude. I've always wondered what happened to him.
He
What
was
happened to
still
that
working
dude?
there when they moved. He was still working at the new one,
Yeah, man, that guy was there for a while. OG.
and he
OG
worked like
Denny's.
all shifts because it doesn't matter what shift you went. He was still there.
That's the one guy you saw.
Now that's brand building.
They just called him Denny.
Oh shit! But yeah, we'll do the golf thing. Maybe July or August. I don't know. Oh snap! One thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. You guys rent cars recently, or have experience renting cars? Obviously.
I know
Yes.
where they're going. And
I know. I saw your Twitter. Yeah.
Twitter, they're just going, and I downloaded the app.
Yo, Turo kind of legit.
No, it's not.
Why
No.
not?
It's not.
Why not?
Because, first of all, like, fine, you're paying. Okay, look, I'll give you a direct comparison. I'm going to LA in August for 10 days for a wedding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a little bit of vacation of it too. All my family's going, so I booked a big car. Okay, I booked like something like a Suburban or Escalade.
Or
It's
similar.
gonna cost
'Cause-
me
Mhm.
$1,500 Canadian for 10 days.
That seems
Taxes,
cheap.
taxes, insurance, everything in.
That seems pretty cheap. That doesn't seem like a regular plan.
No, it is. I think it's normal. Anyways, Turo is charging me for a smaller Range Rover, 1,300 US plus their insurance. You have to get insurance, and high-end cars, you can't just go with their base insurance package. You have to get the premium insurance package. It costs way more. At a certain point, like, yeah, you know, you get more variety in cars than you do with a rental, but you're not saving any money. The value is not there, unless you actually are in the market for like one of these high-end cars. You actually want to drive it and like see what it's like. Then yeah, fine, take Turo for a day or two. Other than that, like, it doesn't replace the rental market, man. No way.
And I was looking locally, like in Vancouver. We're headed to Vancouver, and I was comparing prices, and what the main chains are all charging was like $1,200 for a week, $1,300 around there for the week, and then Turo, when we looked at it, it was like $450 pre-insurance and like pre-checkout costs. So I don't know how much that like adds up to.
Yeah, then there's like these extra fees to pick it up at the airport and drop it off at the airport too, right? Because you got to have someone come there and take it too. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, so I haven't gone through the full checkout, but I was like, yo, this is half the price of what these what I'd be paying. And I've been like, and the thing that I hate the most about renting is the Ford Edge or similar, where you like pick your size of car, but they give you similar, and then when you get it, you're like, this is a little smaller than that.
Yeah, or a lot older than what you showed me. I rented one
Yeah.
last summer in San Francisco. I got like a 2019 Camry that smelled like cigarettes. It was shit.
That I would have been like, yo, I can't do this. I can't, because I literally cannot stand the smell of cigarettes to the point it has me coughing and wheezing. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't used Turo. I was big on Airbnb for a while, and then it's kind of like, well, the hotels still have their place. So
I mean, the best is when you get a rental car. It's like brand new, has like 18 kilometers on it. It's the
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
It's the
So
best.
good. So
It
good.
feels like the stickers are on there. You're like, yeah, it's my car.
my biggest thing with rentals is when you get the rental and they're like, we're sorry, sir, we don't have the one that you booked, but we can give you a free upgrade to the next one just to
Yeah,
make up for it. I'm like,
yeah.
what? That sounds beautiful. Give me the next one. But it doesn't seem to happen too often these days for me. So
It happens. Then you go from like a decent car on gas to like a upscale gas guzzler. Like, oh,
Yeah, it's
fuck
worth
it,
it.
we're good.
the gas companies have gone to Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't. So my first experience with Turo was they didn't have any options. Now they seem to have a lot more people on it. So I don't know. We'll try it out in Vancouver. Hopefully everything goes good. If it does
Yeah, I'm
end up,
debating using it for LA. Let's see.
I mean, I'm always open to taking risks and trying things. But I recently got off Airbnb now because someone tried to ding us with like an expense. I'm like, no, that's not something we should be covering. Your insurance should be covering that. And then
Oh, really?
It's like a little-
What happened?
Elaborate.
it was like a little nick in the window on the outside.
Yeah.
Or no, it
How
was
did
like
that happen?
it was like the way the window cracked. It like went in from the inside frame. So we're just like, look, that's not a us thing. We didn't hit the window or crack the window. It was a bedroom window.
Yeah.
And we're like, we do acknowledge that, that this definitely was something that wasn't there when we first started, but this just seems like a wear and tear in the window frame or something. So, and rental insurance or whatever should cover it. And the guy who was renting it to us was pretty understanding with it. He's like, yo, I just want my shit fixed. I'm going to go through Airbnb and communicate with them. And I was like, do it. Airbnb's like, hey, he's a pretty good host. We don't think he's lying. But they wanted like $2,000, and I was like, I thought it would be like a $700 fix. But they're like, we got to take the entire window out and replace it because it's a single pane. I was like, psh. You know what I mean?
It's insurance, right?
I was like, insurance, and they're like, no, this is buyer or the renter needs to cover it. And I was like, nope. I was just like, nope. That was my response, and they kind of just left it loose. So
I guess it can't really come after you for that.
yeah, but like Verbo apparently is a lot better than Airbnb on protection stuff. They just cover all of that.
That's the new one, right? That I've seen the ads and stuff like that.
Yeah, you rent the room, rent the house, not a room. So everyone
I mean,
after,
I've never rented just a room anyways. I always rented the place.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
that was a thing, but
I mean, that was Airbnb's first thing, rent a room.
that's weird.
Just one. Yeah, it is weird. I've done it once.
Really?
It was like a shared apartment kind of thing. So you had your own living space. It's just the corridor you shared in the kitchen.
I mean, that's a weird thing that you did.
No, it was just for one night in Italy because we couldn't find accommodation. So we kind of had to do that.
Yeah, it is a bitch for accommodation.
It was a multi-coast, and we're like, it was one of the smaller towns. We're like, whatever, we'll do it. The host was nice. So
That was like
it
a
was
humble brag. No accommodation, just a multi coast, just cruising there.
We couldn't find anything. That was
Bad in the summer, bro.
yeah. It's hard to find places, man. So,
terrible.
but it was really nice. Like it was no complaints. So, but it was strange. I wouldn't do it again. Just
Yeah.
odd. Yeah, it was an odd experience. It wasn't
Like
bad. It wasn't. We weren't even there, to be honest with you. Right. So.
You're like, we're just coming here to crash at night and hold ourselves.
Yeah, but when we were early on the trip, we had our own place, and that was fine. But it was a strange. I wouldn't do it again.
I'm like,
I know about that life anymore.
no, like this guy's like, I needed my full mansion.
Yeah.
Have you seen Airbnbs in friggin' Orlando?
Nah.
Because
Like
Orlando's
the whole
like
house, the
but
houses and stuff.
They're nice ass houses for pretty cheap. It's like you could do a good, nice 20-person trip to one of those mansions. I was like, of all the ones I've seen, Orlando seems to really have the most of these. But yeah, Verbo's where it's at right now.
I think with Orlando, there's such an abundance of them because that's the business there.
Everyone knows people are coming
around
for
the Disney area. I think it's like Champions Gate and around that area. I forgot what the other Lake Benavista or whatever. I forgot what the area is around Disney. That's where you'll find. Yeah, you'll find all these kind of Airbnb, but it's basically suburbs where people are just invested.
Yeah,
and they just put on
Rental
Airbnb and no one
suburbs.
actually lives there. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm not even against that. Apparently, we had some of the condos that were going up in Toronto were becoming like that, where people were just getting them for Airbnbs. That they got to the point where they said, "Look, no short-term rentals," because the people buying to actually stay in there hated that. The condo we lived in said no short-term rentals, but every now and then we'd see like a couple with a suitcase on a Friday coming up, or I'm like, yeah, this is a rental.
Okay, so Airbnb, like just the condo is more expensive than a hotel. Is that fair enough for me to assume? Generally,
I found
If
they
you're
were
renting
pretty.
the entire-
I always thought they were about the same.
I just prefer a hotel. like a nice hotel. I'd pay a little bit extra money and just get the service.
The bed service.
Well, sometimes no, it depends. Sometimes Airbnb is cheaper, but you remember with hotels and Airbnbs, you get a kitchen with your Airbnb usually, right?
Yeah, if that's needed, I'm just saying, like, but for just someone going into a random city for a few nights, I would never get an Airbnb.
Dude, some cities like Vancouver is notoriously expensive for hotels, and Airbnb is just cheap.
I remember getting
Okay.
sick Airbnb in Vancouver. This was back in 2013, 2014. And it was like a really dope Airbnb that was like right at one of the main intersections. Like we were right beside the beach, right beside a bunch of rentals and stuff. And I remember when we got it, it almost felt like the person who was renting it to us wasn't allowed to. Because there were like notices.
Secret?
No, there were like notices on the door that I was like, hey, someone left you this notice. And there was like 2 days of like notices left on the door for the homeowner. And they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, even when we were like parking, I saw signs saying you're not allowing guests to park here.
That's
like,
so funny.
So I'm like, I wonder if we were like one of the, and we were pretty bait about being like Airbnb guests. We weren't like trying to mask it or like hide it so I was like, I wonder if we were like one of the last people here, but a lot of people just didn't like it. And I can understand why. If you're living in a nice place, you just have like these randoms walking through your halls. I can see that being.
Yeah.
Remember that mansion party in Brampton at like 2,000 people? Airbnb.
Yeah, the anniversary was out of recently. Was it Airbnb?
Yeah. I think
was that an Airbnb? No, but it wasn't finished. It was like still under construction.
But they rented it out off on Airbnb.
Oh, it was an unfinished house.
That was a big
I think
thing.
the people. No, I think they just showed up to that house. I don't think it was something that they rented. I think a bunch of kids just planned a party at this mansion. It was semi-finished.
No, but I think
it was finished, man.
No, like in the videos, they're on like the stairs still have wood and
they weren't like drywall. Yeah, it wasn't all drywall
Yeah.
and stuff. I remember there was actually a thing though. Like a lot of promoters were booking big houses in Brampton for parties. It became like a news story. Yeah, it was a news story that they're like, yeah, we got to stop doing it. I feel like that was like the Castlemore just became that, like, yo, just rent out your house to these club promoters who will do like these one weekend parties.
Yeah, but they mess up the house. That was the thing, right?
And then I think the Castlemore Residents Association kind of got a little pissed off about it, saying, hey, this isn't, and I kind of get it. It's not nice to have your neighborhood that you think is so lavish and posh to turn into like this party hub. But
look at Shinla turning into the man. Look at the leftist in him. Leftist in him is just coming out.
I mean, I'm
not in my backyard.
It's the NIMBYism, right? But it was also funny because they hated the golf course being converted. Castlemore Golf Course, when that got taken over and he sold off half of it.
That was a shit golf course anyways. That needed to be taken away. It's one of the worst golf courses I played.
Was that before the Daisies took over or after?
No, I think it was while the Daisies took over.
Because I heard there was like
it looked like a half construction site. You'd go there like, what is this?
Right? That was after. That was definitely after because I remember all the Castlemore residents were so pissed when that got sold off. And
I mean, if that's the attraction of you coming, I mean, was it Riverstone? Riverstone Golf. That was a golf. I think that got shut down. I don't know what it is now. It must just be a walkway or something.
I think it's just like
I'd be pissed.
I was kind of mad the city didn't take over Riverstone. I felt like that was something that the city should have just invested as a public course.
Don't blame the city. Blame the taxpayers. No one stood up for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't about to show up.
It's a company. What exactly happened with Riverstone anyways? Why did it get shut down?
The company was just like, yo, we're not turning a profit. We're taking a loss on this stuff.
It was expensive too to play there. It wasn't like the cheapest course either.
It was $60, I think, was
for a 9-hole. Like that's
for a 9-hole, yeah. Well, I don't know what the actual rates are for regular courses.
Okay.
It's expensive. They also had a gym stuff there. The city bought the gym off them and said, "We'll use this." They turned
they should have just run it like Peel Village, man. Peel Village is a great course.
Yeah, so I thought it could have been a night. It was nice. We used to go to River. That was our local course at the time. It was a nice course. I know when residents bought the houses there, it was advertised as you're buying a house on a golf course.
Yeah, right. That's the attraction.
And I think,
but it's kind of the same thing. Like Glen Abbey had the same issue, right? When Club Link, the owner, took it over, and then they were trying to sell it. They've been trying to sell that land forever, and there's that whole argument where the I guess the the club owners or the members have tried to do lawsuits and this and that, and it's been pretty interesting because that's a tract of land that's very attractive to a developer. But it's if you want to call it a heritage site to some of the residents, like Glen Abbey is a part of Oakville history. So we'll see how long that lasts. That one's interesting. I can't see it lasting too much longer.
I mean, eventually that.
Yeah, man, that land's gone. Like, it's a big tract of land too. It's nothing small, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. There's a lot of cool things happening in Brampton. Us not having golf courses is one of them, but Lululemon's coming to Brampton.
I need a cousin or somebody to work there. I need that discount.
And you guys are just more. You guys are just excited more yoga pants in Brampton.
Everybody.
Dress pants.
I mean, it's not going to change anyone actually being able to shop. It's not like it's a shop. It's an actual business office. I'm sure
Where is
everyone's
it
going to know one
located?
person.
Anybody know where the locality is? Like which area of Brampton?
Wards 9 and 10. That's all I know.
Where does that fall again?
Springdale.
9, 10, Spring. Yeah.
So that'll be probably around like the airport and Williams area, probably.
Or it could be like where the other big.
They'll probably be
factories
north.
go.
They'll probably be north somewhere.
Like
on the
Dixon
north side.
Mayfield. Dixie Mayfield.
Yeah, Dixie
Is
Mayfield.
that
around there.
wards 9 and 10? Is that 9 and 10 still?
Dixie? Okay. No, Dixie's Brampton North. But I think after Bramley, you end up in 9, 10. But
whatever, man.
Anyway, it's gonna be on one of those north corners that are vacant.
More
I'm sure.
More jobs. So.
And it's a big company that's coming from Vancouver. They're moving their head office stuff here, it seems. Or that's
They just opened a massive store in Square One. I'm surprised people buy it. Like, it's crazy.
They survived this
expensive.
cancel. They had like this, they survived like this cancel culture thing where their CEO almost got canceled. They're like, you may stop making public statements. We're gonna take you off the public eye. And yeah, everyone is just like, good. Now that he's gone, we don't feel guilty about. I don't think anyone really felt that guilty. There's certain products that just withstand it. They were one of them. People like the product too much. A lot of guys love their pants too. It's not just a girls thing.
And their boxers.
The workwear looks pretty cool, but I mean, it's surprising that it's expensive.
Yeah.
Be good to find out who has a discount working at the warehouse.
Everyone's gonna have someone there, man.
I got a cousin.
I remember growing up, one of the greatest flexes was I have a Best Buy guy.
Best Buy guy.
Yeah.
Or Future Shop guy. So Future Shop. Let's throw Future Shop in there.
I feel like Randy had that.
I was a guy.
You were getting
Were
the
you the
text
guy?
messages, yo, can you look this up for me? Let me know how much it is. And you'd be like, yo, it's this much. And
Yeah,
then
we all knew someone. Best Buy, Future Shop. Yeah.
I thought it was the greatest plug ever because they were like the most useful. Like, I want to buy this. And you look.
Especially TVs. TVs was the big one. You needed to have a.
Markups, yeah. TVs,
Yeah.
cable. My cables were like $50-$60, and I cost like $2.
Monster cables.
Monster
Yeah,
cables. I remember that.
Yeah, having a connect. So I'm sure everyone's gonna have a Lululemon connect coming on. But yeah, Brampton doing big
the other big
things.
thing with Brampton is, are we all going to separate from Saga or what?
Yeah, that's the big one, man. That's Saga's pushing. Saga does not want to be part of
Saga's
Peel.
kind of spoiled here, don't you think? Mrs. Saga's. They loved it when they were growing and they needed that shared tax.
We've all hated Mrs. Saga collectively at some point. So
I'm not even trying to hate on Mrs. Saga. I enjoy Square One. I enjoy that entire thing. But they literally had us paying for their development up until
and that's the matter at hand, right? It's Miss Saga saying, well, we're losing about I think 80 million or 100 million or whatever it is a year by providing certain infrastructure and services, wherein Brampton and Patrick Brown are arguing the other way around, saying, well, we've paid an X amount to help you build your infrastructure over the course of many years, and we should be paid back. And so that's the argument now. If they leave, which looks likely because Premier Ford just announced publicly today that he believes in a independent Mississauga. So, when the Dougler says something, it's probably going to happen.
It's probably going to happen, yeah.
Right. So, he's obviously already gone through that. So my question is, Mississauga will be fine in some regard, but what happens to Brampton? How much is that funding vital to us? Does Caledon then say, well, we don't want to be part of Brampton anymore?
No, Caledon still needs funding. They're in the same, but they're in more of the boat than we are. More they're just
I don't think they need the services as much.
They're growing. These have that huge green belt, right? But other than that, people are moving there. They do need services.
Which the property taxes will pay for. I mean, what in terms of infrastructure, what does Caledon really need at this point?
I actually saw this crazy stat that Caledon is one of the wealthiest cities in Canada. It's like most wealthiest people have homes in Caledon.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
who was it? What's that singer? Elton John has a property in Caledon.
What,
Seriously?
really?
Yeah,
Really?
He probably
El-
skews his numbers on his own.
Elton John. Weston they have like a family estate in Caledon
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah. Well, the Eaton Mansion used to be is in Caledon. I mean, there's been a lot of prominent families, but
I wonder if they're putting their stuff for sale now that they see they're moving in.
yeah, probably. What I mean, does it screw Brampton? That's my question to you guys. Is Brampton in trouble?
I mean, maybe at a certain point, Brampton is gonna probably want to be independent as well. We're probably gonna hit that in like another 5, 6, 7 years. We're hitting like, oh, okay, we're close to a million now. We should probably be separate. We're self-sufficient. We don't have that growth that Mississauga does and that kind of development.
But we have
That's
big
kind of
companies
bad.
here, right? Like Microsoft is right. Is Microsoft Brampton or Mississauga? Because it's right at that
Saga.
border.
Saga.
How about
Saga.
Loblaws? Loblaws.
Loblaws Brampton.
Okay, so we
Brampton.
got
That's
the
a Bram-
Loblaws head
yeah.
office. Lululemon coming here. We have a bunch of Amazon warehouses. I
Yeah,
heard
I mean, from
We still don't have the job
I-
market that Mississauga has. We're
yeah,
still
the best is what Ford says, and I quote, in regards to what's happening. Brampton is not going to get shafted by Mississauga or anyone else.
he knows what's coming.
The Dougler.
in policy and say Shopton.
It's a shafted.
Yo, does Mississauga have scooters?
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know about the scooter thing, but like
I feel like that's a world class sign of a world class city.
But here's what I think with the whole loss of funds. Essentially, do property taxes go up? Probably, right? We'll have to. Do they have to look at these basement apartments now and actually start making them
Pay their share.
come up with some kind of tax code to really like get some revenue out of it? Because it's going to get to a point where the city can't afford to run. You're going to have no money, right? So I think it's going to be interesting. If Brampton's on its own, it's not requiring listening. Does the school system change? I guess that would change too, right?
What about policing? Is it like Brampton?
That would
City Police?
that would change as well.
So is it really going to be Mississauga getting the city of Mississauga having its own everything? Or is it going to be, because I remember there was also talk earlier about amalgamation, whatever, man.
I mean, Vaughan, and other cities it's York Region, right?
York
so
Region,
that police, so maybe that's what they're thinking. I'm not sure personally how the funding works regionally, but I would assume Mississauga, if they want to be independent, means independent everything.
Yeah, like they went out of their services.
What else are shared services?
Police, fire,
schools,
ambulance,
and
schools.
disposal.
Yeah, waste disposal.
Yeah.
So he did make that announcement in front of a firehouse, I think,
But it'd be interesting
at a Mississauga firefighter training facility.
because I remember originally when they were talking about that thing amalgamation that they were talking about. Could Brown beat Bonnie Crombie as the mayor of Peel? And I thought that's an interesting fight 1v1 because they're both popular within the regions.
I don't think Mississauga would want to join Brampton. Do you think so? I think Brampton would be up for joining Mississauga in a city. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll come with you guys.
I mean, we've been carrying you this far, but Mississauga clearly doesn't want to be associated with us. But I don't know. I thought it would be an interesting political battle, Brown versus Crombie.
Yeah, I remember. Well, when we were younger, like I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a separation between Jinkuzi and Brampton. There was
What do you
it was like kind of different.
Bramley and Brampton.
Or Bramley, sorry, you're right. Bramley and Brampton. It was very different. To the point where, like, I remember as kids, like, there's a huge rivalry in our soccer teams.
Like within.
Separate city, like, F you guys. We're different.
Well,
And
we grew up in Malton. Mississauga didn't even want us.
yeah,
I feel like Mississauga and Malton have the exact same thing that Bramley
Yeah,
and
they never
thing did.
they
They're
never
little
labeled
villages within the city.
village. You're the village. You never even labeled us Mississauga. That was the best. Yeah, no one growing up in Malton ever says I grew up in Mississauga.
I feel like to Malton's credit, Malton's always kind of kept its independence. Like they've never really like people from Malton don't say I'm in Mississauga. They say I'm Malton.
Maybe that's always been the problem.
they can be Brampton when they want to be. They can be Saga when they want to be. Depends on the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
it's
I don't
kind of
know.
like
I don't want Brampton. I don't want thing leaving. But whatever. We got scooters, man. Have you guys seen these things?
I've seen some locked up already, so that's been hilarious.
I
Locked up?
don't.
What do you mean?
I need someone to explain this to me because
Locked up on a post with a bite
I
lock.
see
No,
them
that's how
all
they
over
are.
my neighborhood. I see
Yeah,
them
yeah.
all over my neighborhood. Last night, I saw 3 dudes roll out to Pizza Depot on one scooty, and my parents are just dying laughing. Like, what? This is like some bench shit, right? They're dying in the backseat. And
Hold on, don't you need a hold on? I remember when
they're holding each other too. Isn't the one guy's riding?
it's like
He's
hugging it.
all hugging, right? So one's hugging the driver, the other one's hugging the other middle passenger, and they're all like all rolling along in the scooty.
Proper sandwich.
Yeah.
You could probably fit another fourth guy if you got him to like kneel down underneath right at the front where the bar
What was that
is.
shit? Remember was it when you doubled as a kid, double riding when the kid sat on the handlebars?
Handlebars.
That's gonna happen as well.
Like, what's the deal? Like, you can just leave these anywhere and someone else can pick it up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't used them in Brampton. I've used them in like other cities. Like we did them in
Yeah.
Austin and we did them in San Francisco. And South Park actually has a hilarious episode about when they were taking over like American cities. But yeah, you use the app. I don't know who's running the Brampton ones, but there are 2 big companies, Bird and Ride, were the big ones in America. I remember. You open the app, you say, "I want a scooter." There's a little barcode on it. You scan it. It tells you the code to unlock it if there's a lock on it. You unlock it. It starts up remotely once your payment goes through, and it just goes. And then you get paid by time and kilometers.
And
then
how
after
they
you-
charge?
Your credit card through the app.
No. Like the power.
Once it's done, they have like trucks that come up at night that find the ones that need battery charging. They pick them up, put them on charge, replace them with other ones, and they kind of like redisperse them. So they all have like GPSs on them and stuff. So there's a company that maintains them.
Mm.
So if like someone
Like,
leaves
what-
one in a ditch or something, someone will come in and pick it up. And
Don't you need to wear a helmet?
they had helmets on them, but I don't think it's mandatory.
No, but if you ride like an e-bike or something like that here, isn't there a rule?
I think it's recommended, not
Like
required.
in Chicago, you could not take them on sidewalks. You had to stay on the road.
Yeah, so I don't think that rule here because I see everyone on sidewalks with them,
Sidewalks, yeah.
and I don't think anyone's trying to take them on the road.
One guy. We got one guy patrolling basements now. He wants to see
Yo, I want to know who the one guy is who's taking the basement roll on. That would be a great interview.
Whose role is it to like rent the scooter? But I see people. They're actually convenient for a lot of people because they're able to get like groceries, even like the little bag of groceries instead of doing that 4-kilometer walk now.
How much does it cost? Because I mean, those scooters aren't that expensive now. You can get one for like $300.
I remember. So I don't know. I haven't used it here, but when we did it in Austin, I used one for like an hour, and we were just doing them around the core. I don't know how many kilometers we picked up on them, but it cost me like $9 for that hour. So
Yeah, but now students are like, I've seen students in my neighborhood and people complain about it, how they just take them into their house and just
hold on to them and calling dibs.
Well, yeah.
I mean, at some point, someone's going to come knocking saying, "Hey, we're here for that scooter," because they're fully GPS and everything.
Right.
And I know you can buy electric scooters. I looked into buying
but remember, these are the same people that crash a car and then all run 4 different ways, leaving the car. Then it's like, well, there's a license plate on the car.
But buying
We
an
are gonna find you.
electric scooter, I remember looking it up once. It was like $1,300 for like a decent one.
Yeah, I mean, but they're getting cheaper, is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
someone could get one for like $500. I've seen them on $500 or whatnot. I don't know how much the range is. Obviously, that's probably the battery pack that dictates that price.
Maybe I should
But-
have gotten one of those and not a skateboard.
Yeah, your legs would have been happy.
until I friggin' fall off one of those. But yeah, there you
And
go.
I took it I was on like one of the roads in Chicago. I was like, it's pretty hairy if there's lots of traffic or lots of cars going and speaking. And I wouldn't imagine driving in Brampton's like. I won't take a bike on the road. Scooter.
I remember Montreal's lakefront had them, and people hated them because people would just leave them everywhere, and they would just litter it everywhere, and they're like, ruins the city's beauty.
I think you should have kind of when you kind of like the bikes. You have the lift bikes all over. When I was in certain cities in the U.S., you can rent a bike, and I think they have in Toronto, don't they? Bike rentals.
Yeah, bike rentals.
Yeah, so it should be like that. You need to bring it back to that
to
a certain place. A rack, sorry, that's the word. Yeah, and they should just do those scooters.
You're charged until you bring it to that specific rack in the area.
I don't know why the scooters haven't done that. That's really strange.
I mean, I think with them, they're just like, yeah, it works. That you could just leave it everywhere, and then we have this one guy that goes around cleaning them up and picking them up.
Is the city paying? Is the city paying for this?
So the one company that I looked into, they paid the city to be in their market. They just asked that the laws be adjusted.
No, but the Brampton ones, because they're like, you got the politicians posing with it, right?
I mean, politicians are going to take credit for everything. They're going to be wearing Lululemon pants when Lululemon opens up here. You know what I mean?
Door knocking in tights.
They're always looking for like, what did we do for the city? We did the scooters. Yeah. But I remember South Park was just ripping on the scooter stuff when it was big. This was like several years ago. So it's nice that Brampton's a world-class city that we have scooters, though.
Is it? It's a world-class.
Yeah, world-class. Look, man,
we couldn't decide on an LRT, and you're talking about
world-class city. We have some of the most renowned singers coming from here. Some of the most renowned athletes.
Right, maybe we should amalgamate. This is too much pride.
Brampton's at the top right now. You guys are sleeping on Brampton.
And they said they're exploring the LRT again, aren't they? Something like that in the news.
If we're getting funding for it, let's just do it.
Yeah, bring the vote back.
Vote back, yeah, bring it back. Talk about running it back.
I think it says here that they're deciding on a tunnel option over surface alignment for Main Street. No funding committed.
Always the best. No funding. That's never happening. Nothing. We may as well open a racetrack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quickly I don't know how to pivot to this, but you guys hear about the coronation of Prince Charles?
Who didn't hear about? Who did you hear about it?
I don't know, man. Some of us were in Mexico and shit.
The best were the memes. Where they put like the wedding music to it. It's so good.
Oh man, that was so funny.
So good.
Has the monarchy kind of run its course?
I mean, to be fair, you had a queen. When did she get coronated? 1960 or 50? When was her coronation?
The 50s? Queen?
No, pre-World War, man.
That was like 1930.
Wasn't it? It was right after. It was right after.
Right after, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have generations of people that she's been kind of the same. The monarchy is her. So it's not. She represented everything. So I think her leaving, now they got to deal with this new guy. So now the question really becomes, is it dead or not? It was probably dead even with her, but she's been around for so long.
We got so used to her being on our money.
Yeah, it's just part of your kind of life, right? But him, I don't know.
More and more Commonwealth countries have like a resistance to this whole monarchy concept. Even now, like all these fun polls online are showing Canadians not really down with the monarchy being the figurehead of our political system and legal system. I mean, I kind of think it's kind of cool in the sense that it makes you a little different, because it actually doesn't have any impact on my life whatsoever. I'm not one of those people that follow the monarchy, understand its politics. The show was kind of cool. The Netflix show, what's it called?
Diana.
The Crown.
The Crown.
Crown, yeah.
I kind of watched a few seasons. It was actually pretty cool. It's a solid filler show. When like in between series that you really want to watch, it's a great show for that.
But how does it compare to Queen Charlotte?
Ooh.
What the hell? Why do you guys always give me these blank stares when I give you a good TV show? Queen Charlotte, the Bridgerton.
Just ignore him.
All right, fine. Keep
this is one that you just ignore him and keep talking. Keep going.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but if you say I should watch it, I'll check it out.
I'm surprised your wife hasn't made you watch it or is binging it. It's like this super popular Netflix chick flick.
All your TV recommendations lately have been like the movies like or shows that your wife's supposed to recommend, and you.
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest with. I'm
you're
gonna be
talking about
100%.
thing that make
Yeah.
believe. Like, yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. My wife controls the remote in the house. I barely get a chance to pick TV.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
TV shows are Ted Lasso, and even then, I gotta wait for everyone to go to sleep
it's a
to
great
watch.
show.
Great
I
show.
mean, the monarchy and now, I think Kush was. I just brought it up. It was 1952 or something like that.
Wait, do you give a shit? Do you give a shit if we have a figurehead?
No, I
monarch?
don't think. I mean, let's
It makes me
let's
less
talk-
American. It makes me less
Well,
American, and I'm
yeah,
okay
I
with
mean,
that.
let's just say aside from Canada, I mean, the one where it's going to have the biggest ramifications is in their own home country, right? So they are in a situation now where they've left the EU. Scotland is, possible independence, right? So that whole monarchy, Great Britain, it's if they start losing pieces, what does it really mean? It doesn't mean anything. So that's the first one. Canada, yeah, they're just figureheads, but do people even notice?
I mean, how
I
much
don't-
money goes to the attorney general? I mean, that was the biggest scandal for the longest time. Is why do we even have an
think it's-
attorney general that where so much tax money is going to lavish up and keep them in this nice house? What was their house renovation? Was like 10 mil.
You mean Governor General, man?
Governor,
Governor General.
whatever,
Attorney
man.
General?
Governor General.
Governor General is, yes, they are the kind of speaking head for the monarchy
But
in Canada.
they get a lot of money. Remember, there was a huge scandal about how much the last Governor General was spending. Was insane, and it was like, what the hell are they even doing?
Yeah, but there's lots of things done in heads of state or whatever you want to call it, where money's wasted. And you'd be like, oh, that's a waste of money. I mean,
Which I
it is
think
what
was
it is.
something
There's
you were talking about, though.
There's traditions. There's things that you carry on. The problem is a lot of us don't identify with those traditions, and a lot of Canadians that are being polled maybe are, kids of immigrants or immigrants themselves. They have no link, right? But if you, ask, what did your old boy Stephen Harper say? Old stock Canadians. If you had old stock Canadians, I think there'll be a much more alignment with tradition and what they deem to be Canadian.
Old stock Canadians can be twisted to whichever way suits them, because it could be like, why are we paying this?
Here's a defense. Here's a defense.
Like,
come out right away.
I know in the UK there's a whole thing of like the people in the UK right now are struggling to make ends meet. It's probably one of the worst times in UK generally, with just the cost of living being so high. And meanwhile, you have this like lavish ceremony where they're like putting gold crowns and.
Well, they're his crowns. It's not new money. It's money that's always been there.
But it's just flaunting
in his closet.
It's just
He's just
flaunting
doing
of wealth.
I mean,
you're having one of the greatest disparity moments. I mean, in
Yeah,
Canada,
but that's
in the
like
US,
attacking billionaires and shit like that too, right? For having the money they have.
which
I mean, for
country?
not paying their taxes.
Name a country that doesn't have that kind of. In America, there is no monarchy, but there's celebrity.
Yeah.
And they're addicted to celebrity. So celebrity kind of takes the place of monarchy. Which country doesn't have that?
I don't know, man. I don't travel near as much as you. Malfi
No,
Post.
I'm just saying publicly. If you look at countries, there's always some kind of,
hate for someone in society at the top.
yeah, or someone wasting, and you're like, oh, that doesn't, resonate with the general public at the moment, and they're out of touch. Let them eat cake kind of scenario. They're irrelevant to me, like Ranjit said. It doesn't do nothing to my life, so I don't look at it that way. But I would be in favor of a little bit more Canadian-centric traditions and moving away from the monarchy, maybe involving some of our own history and making that more relevant.
So I saw a big movement on, Twitter. What does a movement on Twitter even count for? Because Twitter's not a real place. But people were saying we should maybe ditch trying to put monarchy, like his face on any money, because they're talking about redoing a bunch of money. Like, why don't we just stick with the animals that we already do in the colors? Why do we even need the monarch's face on it? Just keep it
the
Canadian.
prominent, just prominent Canadians. I'm okay with that. I mean, the weird one is like the new passport they proposed kind of took everything out of it. So that's even stranger one, right? Like taking Terry Fox out is a strange one. So I don't know how they're going to defend that. But yeah, put Terry Fox on somebody. Yeah, there's Ian Fleming. There's a bunch of Canadians that I think it's Ian Fleming. Penicillin? I think,
Yeah. What about Gretzky?
Hockey. That's a hard one.
I feel like
On your money?
Gretzky's Canadian royalty when you talk about celebrity and
I mean, the CBC had that show a few years ago, the greatest Canadian ever. And they would do like a voting system, and I think Tommy Douglas was a big one. You know, the creator of Universal Healthcare.
And if you gotta make an argument about most famous Canadian athlete, I think it has to be GSP.
Can you imagine?
like GSP on the $20 bill. Just a guy with gloves. Just,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's hockey history, whatever it is, but yeah, I think that's more palatable than the monarchy on your bill. I mean, I don't want to see I don't want to see Charles on my bill because it's kind of a joke.
I feel like this is a question we need to ask Google Bard. Who would be the number one?
Just keep it the Queen. Would you guys? Okay, would you oppose to the Queen still on the?
All right, now that you rejected my segue, let's try this again. Maybe maybe that was a hard rejection. Holy shit!
Like those shit. That was pretty shit.
Have you guys used any of these AI tools yet?
I tested out ChatGPT when it was like that first night of everybody going nuts about it.
That's pretty fun. Yeah,
it was a fun night. I haven't touched it since. Although I need some content these days, so I'll probably be back on any one of them that you recommend.
What about you, Robert? I mean, I think with ChatGPT, they started a subscription now.
I haven't really used it in terms of utilizing it in my life.
You're not following these Twitter threads on the top 20 useful ChatGPT prompts that you need to instill in your life right now?
No. Trying to roll back from that, but I'm sure it's going to play a part in my industry and my life and the way we do things eventually. But just I know a lot of I guess journalists, lawyers, whatever, people working with words are using it to formulate a lot of structure or sentences or ideas. And I saw movie scripts at one point coming out of it. It was pretty cool, right? So I mean, I'm sure there's many uses of it if you're in that kind of an industry. But in terms of my industry, it will get there. I just don't know what that looks like at this point.
I mean, AI is making its way through a lot of different things.
And it will. I mean, it makes sense, right? It speeds up things and it can analyze it for you. You know, my fear is not for me. It's for coding. I mean, I'm surely that's what, is your industry a bit scared of it in terms of the computer science industry and IT industry? Should they be scared of it? Engineers
are so dumb, and I'm going to tell you why, because they see something like this, like, awesome, this is going to simplify my life so much.
Yeah.
And then there was this one meme going around where they're like, I just generated this code from ChatGPT, and someone's like, the chat bot was like, I just copied this code from something somewhere else, and the engineer's like, ha ha ha, so do I. Like, that's one of the big jokes in programming is programmers spend a lot of their time just copying and pasting the right bits of code. Yeah. They're not really inventing code. But then that makes a case for AI. If the code's already out there and you're just basically taking fragments and joining them together to create a new code, then why can't AI do that? And it's kind of rendered you useless in that scenario, hasn't it? And like Microsoft, they own this code repository, one of the biggest code repositories in the world called GitHub, which is where a lot of coders, store their code to be shared and easily accessible. And they kind of came under some sort of controversy for a little bit because people realized that it was analyzing all the code that was in there, and it auto recommends code. So it's like, this is what you typed. It's like, this is what you're probably typing next. Here's some variables. And it was like doing AI generated code. And some programmers were able to like identify snippets of their code that it was mimicking.
Wow.
And then they're like, hold on, we didn't sign up for you to analyze our code and make other people accessible to like our proprietary secrets. But with engineering, generally the secret sauce isn't so much in the code. It's more in the business logic of how that code's being used. I don't know. But it definitely will have an impact on the industry to some degree. For sure. Everything does. Like, I can go on ChatGPT and say, hey, create me a website, and it'll give a functioning website for the most part. If I know enough to edit it or tweak it, I can do that on my own, but it does a big chunk. I remember typing generate a first person shooter game using Unreal Engine. It gave me like a nice little sample block. So it gives you starter code. It gives you nice little bones to start moving on from.
I think there are jobs that are risk. I mean, I guess in your field, Ranjit, someone who's responsible for bringing information together, researching, if this thing can just go through everything and extrapolate tons of data and the speed that it does, that's pretty scary for a lot of careers out there. I mean, if that's your job, right? So
Yeah, it'll definitely cut down on the amount of lawyers needed for research and building cases and whatnot. It's helped me with my research already. But still, like, we're kind of safe, at least if you're not on the transactional end, like the art of actually having to formulate a position and make an argument.
yeah.
Until there's a robot that can go to court and make
I think that's what it is. It's if you're in a position where you actually make a decision, like the buck stops with you, if you can say that term.
Yeah.
You're kind of safe. You know, there has to be some oversight in every kind of career, job, profession. There's someone always. An example would be a water treatment plant. Even though we know this thing could probably run itself, there should always someone always be there to kind of have oversight of it, right? So there's always going to be human involved. Same thing with autopilot and airplanes is another example, right? But
I've been bombarded with like a lot of quizzes or surveys, not quizzes, surveys from these legal research tools and companies. Thomson Reuters being one of the bigger ones. All about like, are you nervous about using AI for research? Like, fuck no. Like, I'll do it. It'll save me a lot of time and headache.
Especially if you're like searching for president or like what's the clause here called, or it's just like
yeah, it can help with that. Like I'm pretty good with what I have and what I know. If there's some like particular clause, like it's pretty easy to search what it is and get that information quickly. ChatGPT doesn't help me there, but like if I'm trying to, if I like have a case where I know something's wrong, like the principles, generally legal principles tell me that what's happened to this person is wrong, but I just can't find the right case or exactly, how to make what the legal test is for it. A ChatGPT or AI can save me hours of research and find me the correct test and the correct legal cases, and even give me a layout of the law by giving me a write out of like how these cases have been weighed, and shoot out a memo, right, within like 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 2 minutes or a second even. Whereas it would take, how big trials are run is you prepare for trial, you have to draft a memo or a facta for a judge to read the relevant law. And you have lawyers like juniors drafting this shit. They'll give it to a partner who has to put it all together and make it all flow and actually, argue it. That takes out like 5-6 juniors and significantly cuts down bills, right? So the manpower needed to do things can be significantly less now, and bigger firms can run more leaner if this technology gets developed, and that's just a legal industry.
And I feel like it's coming now to the point where it's just an upgrade from our previous thing, which was just asking Google. You search Google, and people who got really good at searching things on Google were able to get the information faster. And now it's kind of like simplified that even. So people learning to write the correct ChatGPT prompt can get information a lot faster. I've been using this thing called Noster, and someone created an AI bot for that. And it's really quick at giving responses. So instead of even having to Google anything, if I'm like opening up like a kind of a Twitter interface and I'm just saying, hey, at AI, what's this mean? Or, hey, can you give me this recipe quick? And it's like spits it back at you. I just find like that to be an upgrade from the previous search engine. Before I'd be like searching something on Google, having to parse a few links to find the correct information. Now it's kind of not even sending me to websites like, here's what you're looking for. And one of the fears is people aren't validating what AI is telling you, because AI is still learning from false information, right? So it's kind of like, is what you're getting back from AI actually correct? You need to have like some sort of level of being able to discern that information. So as a coder, I can look at the code and be like, yeah, this doesn't work, but I can debug this bit. Thank you for the bones. As a lawyer, you can be like, yeah, that's not correct, but at least this is somewhat something I can use to.
It gives you framework, right? It cuts out 7 steps. And if those 7 steps are someone's responsibility, that's what I'm saying, right? It's going to cut out people.
And it's going to help doctors, because they're going to be able to do diagnoses and like stuff where it's going to help them give ideas. An idea generator.
I think it's twofold. I mean, if it's accurate and does it, you're going to come up with certain programs or screeners and all types that you'll be able to come get outcomes very quickly, and it will kind of it'll speed up everything. I don't know the full effect on mine. It'll be an imaging thing, being able to analyze images, and how that affects the careers. That'll be a hard one. It depends if it goes into more of a, if regulatory bodies decide that, well, this is the pathway we're going to take, and anyone can set up an AI screener for health, and that's deemed as worthy as a gold standard, if you will, then yeah, the whole healthcare field's in trouble. But if the end decision still, it has to be done someone with a license, then AI, yes, I agree. Will just be a tool,
I feel like
that will help us speed up.
I feel like so long as there's liability involved, there's going to be a human person who has to sign off on it, because
Always.
ain't no one, right? One thing that's interesting about AI, though, is where the hell this come from? 6 months ago, we didn't have this, and all of a sudden now we have, like, it's so well public.
I mean,
and
hasn't it been used? Like, it's been being tested for years.
For a while, but now like, we have a taste of it.
It's been
I'm sure these companies have been using it. These companies have been using it already. There's no way Google just came out with this.
No, it wasn't something they just came up with it.
Yeah, they've probably been using it all those, when people say they're listening to our phone, that's probably AI anyways. It's probably analyzing how to analyze all those responses and inputs so quickly. Right.
Well, I know one of the big ones was just voice recognition, like trying to understand what we're saying. Because I don't know if you guys remember the old Motorola phones, where you'd have to like say something and it would barely understand you. But now it's like so many, they understand accents, they understand what you possibly could be saying based on your region.
But to take that information, analyze it,
store it
store into something, but then quickly somehow find a connection that, advertisement or some kind of interest that's extrapolated from that bit of information, put it all together, send it to another app, and done within a matter of seconds. Something along the lines was being used for sure. I mean, they've probably had this in the works, and I'm not surprised, because now they're just giving it for free. It's just free for everybody. So
I think the big thing that's, oh, sorry, go ahead, Ranjit.
Well, even just going further, expanding on that point, there, a couple of weeks back, there was like this kerfuffle all over Twitter about the godfather of AI, like the Google head of AI, quitting because he's scared of AI and stuff like that. Like, if you actually read what he says, he's just like, yo, look, like, I made this. Yeah, I'm one of the probably 3 founding fathers of this technology, but there needs to be regulation for it, right? Otherwise it can be used improperly. So yeah, like, he quit, but he quit because he wants to be on the regulation side and start working on that, because he understands technology and needs to be regulation for it.
He's basically trying to stop the Terminator.
Oh, yeah.
But I think
Skynet is coming. Skynet's coming.
Well, I remember IBM Watson was like one of the big ones that you kind of came public, but it's still in infancy. I think the real big explosion that recently happened was the way the language models were able to process language and interpret and respond in language that we understand.
Right.
I think that's where it became more than just a data analysis tool versus this thing is speaking to me.
It's giving me active outputs. Yeah, exactly. Right. Input, output. Right. Yeah.
But as much as I'm a fan of AI and I love like using like the image generation stuff, I think that's always fun and cool. The one that really irks me, and the place where I think AI is not dangerous, but it's borderline dangerous, low-key, but not dangerous in the sense that it's going to attack us, but so much that it stunts us as humans, is how much it keeps us connected to the past. So I saw this one guy on TikTok and Instagram who's doing a lot of, if Sidhu sang this song or if Sidhu did that song, and they're like doing it in Sidhu's voice, and it was like, oh, this would have been an awesome song by Sidhu, can you redo it? And then you're like, how much is this tethering us to people who are gone and like we're unable to move on? And then I'm like, what if people are like capturing people's voices of their past relatives, and they're like, well, now I can redo this thing as my dead grandfather.
I mean, as
or son.
as long as you know it's not real. I mean, when you start to blur that line, that's the one that's scary. Like,
So
you know,
that's where I think
some of
people are going.
some of the music that's been put out, that's like an AI generated music with AI voices. That's pretty scary because you're like, what's authentic anymore?
And
But
what
it's kind of
artists have rights to AI music, right?
exactly, yeah, it was crazy. But I mean, if it's someone you know that's gone and you know it's gone, like, you know, that person's gone, like, you know, the Tupac hologram, that doesn't bother me, right?
It
Like,
didn't
let's say
bother
that
me, but like
yeah,
it gets
whatever,
extrapolated
right?
on and built on, and you're like, you know what, man? I feel like at some point we need to stop trying to immortalize our existence and accept like whatever Tupac created in the past, that's Tupac's. Whatever Sidhu created in the past, we should just celebrate his
I mean, but that's
work,
the
right? But
remix. That's the remix culture, right? That's been in music. That's been going on for
remixes are
you know.
different though, because you're still using something they themselves created and retuning it and remixing it. Here you're taking their voice, adding
Oh,
new
you're
words,
just like, oh, I get what you're saying. You're just basically making all new
stuff
art
that they
form.
didn't, stuff that
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah,
create,
content.
right?
Yeah, that's not right. Yeah, fair enough. I agree with that.
Even if, and I know some estates might be like, well, we can continue to make money off this, let's do it, right? It's like, what, you're gonna use my grandfather's voice and stuff? Fine by us. We don't have a relationship with him or whatever. But there's
It just
something scary about
it's
us being so tethered to our past and not letting that go, and this making that accessible. There was,
Uh,
I don't care about it's not the past stuff. It's just the ability to do it, and forget past people. How about people in the present? And you can take someone's voice and take someone's persona and literally
That's
like
more
create a
scary.
whole like that's more
Yeah.
scary to me. And before it was a big thing, but now with AI and you can do it in seconds, that's a bit scary. Like the lines being blurred, and this is just the start of it. What if these videos are news channels and that's all AI generated at one point? Like, what does that do to a population, right? So it's the power, and then like that guy said, there has to be regulation. So
and
we'll
also,
see what comes out.
you guys probably saw this one where people were taking old pictures and they were able to reanimate them. And it
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
looked like that person was smiling at you, or and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And like they were very like templated, like the same look, everyone's thing. But I could literally, I don't know. Maybe for me, one of the big scares is we're always able to bring life back to things that have passed, or people who have passed. And for me, there
Right.
should be a level of that's in the past. We need to keep moving on as a society. We can't just keep looking back. And I think I don't know if you guys watched the Harry Potter movies, but there was that one mirror that was in Hogwarts, and Harry's looking at it and he's seeing his parents holding him and hugging him as if they were still there in the present. And Dumbledore was like, listen, this mirror is dangerous because people have spent their entire lives just stuck looking at it and wasting away. For me, AI is that mirror that has that potential, and I feel like some people are using it that way to just.
Well,
What
look,
if-
we already have like videotapes and stuff like that, right? Of our
Past
loved ones. Yeah, exactly. And people rewatch those over again when they miss that person who's gone.
And I think that's fine. I think that's different.
How? I mean, I mean,
Like taking that video and watching the past memory is one thing. Recreating that as a present memory, I think that's where I'm kind of like,
you know what I'm thinking? What's that movie by Tom Cruise, Minority Report, where he would like get doped up and watch those videos of his
Oh,
kid
it was Sonia.
over and over again? Yeah.
Yeah.
And just be lost. I mean, look, mental health and mental health, right? You can abuse yourself with that kind of trauma, either by watching old VHS cassettes, whatever, or by coming up with some AI image video of a loved one talking to you. The base thing is still the same: AI, mental health or coping mechanisms that aren't strong, right? So it is what it is. It's just another modern tool to treat an old, ancient human problem that we've always had.
fair enough.
I personally think we're on track. Do you guys watch Wally?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's gone.
I'm still here. You guys ever watch Wally?
Yeah, where the future was
Or they're just-
where a bunch of
or they're
guys,
just-
humanity became so
They're just
grotesque.
fat and they're just sitting on like these AI monitors where it's just virtual reality, and you want to play this, you want to play, and they don't do anything. They just live in a whole different world. That's my fear. It's getting already pretty bad with gaming. If you don't got nothing to do in the real world, and they can these realities get
Blurry.
more immense and cool, and you don't know what's real anymore. It's pretty. We'll see, man. It's not. I don't think in our lifetime. I'm not worried about our lifetime, but 50 years maybe. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's like crazy what it's going to be like, right? But The question is that when you don't know what's real, that's what's scary. And things like news and just information and what you study, and no one's even even kids now when they're trying to study or write essays or math problems, they're just using this AI stuff. So no one's actually learning.
That can actually like
Detect, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
There's some schools have something that can detect if the essay or whatever been by
It's just like that turning
sure
in. They have like algorithms to determine whether or not it's AI. But I was watching some people figuring out ways to break it because they say the thing that AI does that's predictable is the randomness between words and phrases is very low, whereas humans have a lot more randomness between things. But my biggest thing is now people are. I saw this one service where they're like train AI on your own writing, so it knows how to write things in your voice.
It will get there.
It is there. You could like literally feed AI based on your work, and it'll try to generate more of an approximation of your voice.
Like my question is like basic math and science in jeopardy. Like in schools, is it in jeopardy? Because like it's just like math for sure.
Come on.
I mean, calculators have been questioned for math. You still need to know how to do that without and when everything got disconnected, right? How good's AI when the teacher says write an essay without a computer handy? You have 2 hours. Write these points, right? These are still skills that they're able to test for without the need. Essays in general, I think, were pretty generic. We always had Cole's notes. We always had ways to cheat it. People are just going to be asking AI, hey, tell me what the main plot of this thing was. All of a sudden, everyone in the class had the exact same plot points when they handed in. I don't know. I think
you know what they're going to go back to. It's like when I was in the UK and I was doing my exams, they were written by hand.
Pen and paper.
Everything. It was a full pen and paper paragraph. You write out every little word. You write it out.
I remember when we were in high school.
That's the best way.
Books and you write them out.
Best way, man. Best way.
I remember high school when we had to do like English exams. A lot of the times they give us the question was like, here, write this based on this thing. And if you were clever enough, you'd know exactly what those questions were based on someone else's class or past exams. And I had friends who would literally write out their essays the day before on similar paper, hide the paper in their like jacket, come into the exam and like swap it out if they got the exact same question. So back to the old school.
There's lots of flexes. Lots of people we know with a lot of flexes.
Look, man,
cheating.
You could blame the students for using AI. I'm sure teachers are using AI too for come up with a curriculum for.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, review these essays. Which one was written by AI? Which one is copied by so-and-so? Find the similarities between these essays. I'm sure it works on all sides, but it's the one where people keep the dead alive or steal content that bothers me. Like the Sid one really bugged me for some reason. It's kind of like his, you're cashing in and making content on a guy who didn't do the stuff, and eventually it'll catch up where you can't, or they'll be able to sue you for it. But I don't know.
It'll be crazy when like AI can do like movies, and you don't need actors.
Well, that's like one of the
that's crazy, right? Like it doesn't even need actors; it can just computer generate everything.
So have you guys been keeping up with the writer strike at all?
Yeah.
No.
That's one of the things. That's actually one of the striking things as studios started putting clauses into contracts where they wanted to be able to use a writer's work after they left via AI.
Oh, wow.
And actors, same way, they're getting clauses in their contracts saying we're allowed to use your appearance in the future without in perpetuity. Is that the right word, Ranji? Perpetuity. Perpetuity. Moving forward to do like promotions or whatever type of reworks without permission.
The permission is not right, but they use it in Star Wars a bunch of times, where they kind of did that. They've pretty much mastered it now after a few reiterations of it, where they're using like what they did for Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker. It's getting better and better every kind of time they generate it, but. I'm just talking about full AI movie. Like, let's say there's just like AI just makes up what a Hollywood actor should look like and has a script and what's that whole industry? Like that whole industry is like if it can do it. Once again, it's that reality thing, right? Like, what's reality? So,
well, someone made one where they kind of did an AI video of a beer commercial or a pizza commercial, and it was very nightmarish because it's still in its like infancy, right? It was very like off, but it's getting there. It'll be there maybe in a year or 2 years, I think, depending on the pace of going.
But that time span is scary, right? It's like, oh, it's just a year or two, and you can have this AI generated beer commercial. Like that's pretty.
But like we're getting there. Right?
I think
AI can generate a script. AI can write a song for you. You can tell it to do it in a voice. Now it can.
Think about AI. Little things. You want to do an interview? Get through AI first. HR department's gone. You don't pass the AI interview. There's no point now. AI can do thousands of interviews all at the same time and weed out everybody. Now you don't have the person going through resumes or any algorithms.
It's already done a psych analysis on you while you're doing it because it's pushing that through.
Like just to name an industry, man. If they really wanted to do it and push, there's creative ways of, we'll see.
On final two notes. First, what the hell is Ja Morant doing?
Jawick.
Jawick.
Bundle of the week. He is the bundle of the week.
Such a fumble. So one thing that I saw that was an interesting debate is he's getting criticized for, brandishing a gun. But they're
second time.
They're like, yo, what if he's just a pro-gun type of guy? And if he was like,
is this your conservative?
Amendment right.
Yeah. PP.
No, but like, say he was just like, there's a thing that I saw that I thought was pretty interesting. Like, what if Ja Morant was a gun enthusiast who has a YouTube channel where he's cleaning guns, putting guns back and forth together?
That's completely okay. I mean, if the NBA is okay with that as a player, he's fine. But he's going to lose his contracts from Nike, from Powerade or Gatorade. I think that's another one of his. He loses that contract because that's just not the image they have.
Yeah,
but what about
he's not coming off as a gun enthusiast in his videos anyways. He's coming off as a guy.
Listen, NBA young boy flashing a gun. It's like, well, what do you? I think I was listening to Shannon Sharp in the morning. He's like, this guy makes $40 million a year. $40 million.
Holy
shit! He's a $200 million contract. It's pissing away.
Does the team use this?
No, he was supposed to be NBA All Team, and it's a $38 million. I'm wrong on the figure. But he would have made that in addition to if he made the NBA All Team, or he would be able to get some kind of contract. That cost that it's not worth the video, man. Not worth it.
Now I don't know how NBA contracts are.
And he's not from the streets. He's not from that side of the tracks. That's the best part of it. This is not a gangster. He's like a dude who grew up in Castlemore going to Malton and flexing. Yeah. That's the analogy I'll give you guys. I think everybody can understand that. Like, no, you don't need to do this. Go back to your $1 million home. So it's interesting. I think there's something wrong with him personally.
No, I don't know how.
Is it an old video? We don't even know that. Is it a new? It was live. No,
right? It was new. It was off Insta Live. He can't even post. There was this one thing that I was wondering is, say he's gonna. They're saying expect him to be suspended for 4 months or something, 40 days, or 40 games or something, half a season.
Yeah.
What if it's built in his contract? Like there's morality clauses, because I hear about these all the time, where with sponsorship deals there's some sort of morality clause. If now the team Memphis knows that, we really can't build a team around him. He's not that.
Oh, he's
great.
Gone.
Let's get out of this contract. Let's just pull that morality clause against him and.
He's gonna lose his Nike contract. That's the big one. Like they can trade him. That's it. What's he? Then he's gonna have to rebuild. And the question is, does he have the mental capacity or the fortitude or to the understanding of realizing that he's not? He's like you said, he pissed his career away. But he should have realized that the first time, not the first time.
Is he starting his Antonio Brown descent?
It's gotta be one of the worst. I don't know. I don't know what to say. 'Cause I was a Ja Morant fan. I was like, this kid's gonna be the future. This kid's killing it. It's so fun to watch. Is he Carter? Is he AI? I don't know. And now it's just like he's an idiot. He's just an idiot. Fuck him. I don't really.
Yeah.
And it's one thing if it's like that's how you grew up and that's where you're from and like you're getting caught and that can be solved easily. He's not even like, what is it? He's just a kid. It's just I don't get it.
But imagine spending all the hours it takes to become a pro athlete, all the countless like training and
maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just not as in his head. At least he doesn't think it was as hard. Like no big deal.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. It's just such a bizarre thing for someone to reach the pinnacle and just. I think he was just getting started, and now it's kind of like, yeah, it's done. Fuck it.
Yeah, and if he needs help, I hope he gets the helping that he needs.
I mean,
but
I mean, it's not a help thing. It's not a mental health issue thing here.
he
He's just
pushed
being
it as he went to rehab literally like
Have
a
you
month
guys?
ago.
Did you guys watch the tweet from Kwame Brown, the
No.
former number 1 pick?
Yeah.
Just listen to it. That's enough.
I'll have to take that out.
He's just calling him stupid, right? It's there's nothing else to say there. In essence, what he's doing is just acting like a child, right? The question is he going to grow up? But it's the money, man. It's a lot of money to lose.
I'd be so hurt.
No, but I mean, isn't his parents like, what are you doing? Right?
They're like,
his dad's always at the game. He must have some pull, right?
it's talking about complete descent into shit. Randy Dane, final thoughts on the Leafs.
Go Jays, go.
yeah,
I want to give you
we'll
I want to
talk
give you
about
the send. Let's give you your moment to.
All right. Well, half of the Leafs sucked, but it is what it is. They got too complacent. The second, the core four didn't show up. That's really what lost us. A bit of coaching, yeah, that's fine, but the core four didn't show up, and that's on the higher management, the coach's fault for not getting them engaged. Overall, I'm going to keep it short. I do like Doobie. I do like that he tries. He made moves. He's at fault for committing to this core four. Like, that's his ticket. That's what he's going to be known for. But overall, like, I do like him as a GM. We've had some terrible, terrible GMs in my memory. So out of them, he's the best one. Do I want him to go? No. I think a coaching change is fair, and maybe one of the four gets shipped out.
But the coaching changes, he's tied to the coach, right?
No.
The GM. The GM's coach, yeah, they came up together, right? He has a relationship with Sean Keith.
Brought him up as soon as Babcock left. They got dismissed. He brought him up first as interim, and then he stayed on. But
I'm just saying they have a past relationship where Kyle Dubas was.
But at his end of year, interview, as that happened today, he didn't say that Keith is back for sure. He said anything's on the table, even Keith, like, it's up in the air. So
do you think from your analysis, you think it's a coaching issue?
I think coaching. Look, when you have these four players, you've committed to like a style of play where it's the offense is what is going to drive this team, rather than the truculence, and rather than having a strong back end. So from that's something that stems down from Shanny all the way down. But the coaching, like, these four players did not play up to their potential, and that's on the coach.
But you don't think it's on them?
To a certain extent, yeah. But look, coaches have been able to extract the best out of their players at key moments, and that's what a coach's job is. They're not teaching them how to play hockey anymore at that level. Okay.
So how many?
They're teaching. There's a psychology behind what they do as well. And if you aren't hitting the right buttons, there maybe like the voice in the room is the wrong voice.
Well, let's say new coach, same core, 2 playoffs, same result. At what point do you blow it up?
New coach, new system.
New system, same guys.
New pieces. Obviously, they have pieces as well.
Yeah, they got to keep adding. Let's say they keep up, but the core, the contracts that they have. At one point do they go? Okay, that's not the combination.
Well, okay, look, Austin's 25. Willie's like 26 or 27. Mitch is like 25, 26.
So 2 years they got, you think?
These guys can play elite level hockey until they're 30. So at what point? Who is going to risk their job and get rid of all these guys? And
just one or two, or just
one can go this year. One can easily.
You think it's going to happen?
I think it's possible.
Wow.
I don't think Austin goes because you can't.
No, that's the face of the team.
You can't get centers. Wingers you can always get.
How do you guys feel about Florida now that after it's all said and done? There's that video of like we want Florida, we want Florida.
Dude, that was stupid.
South
And
Florida
on
teams,
this
man.
on this pod, rewind that shit. I asked for Boston.
You did. You actually did. I do remember that. But I mean, imagine the Heat and the Panthers win. South Florida's having a good time.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Does
And they both came in they're both 8 seats, aren't they?
are you okay with the fans being memed here at all?
We deserve it, man.
The way
We
people
got-
were celebrating after first round as if they had just won the.
Those were my words. It's like slow down.
Fine. But like, yeah, we want Miami shit, or we sorry, we want
The tweets were hilarious. Congratulations, Toronto. It's like
Plan a parade.
It's like one round, man. Come on. The second round's gonna hurt even more. Imagine the third round. Could you imagine that? Or the conference final if they lost, so that would have been more hard. Like it's just
no. But the goal was
if you've been swept.
The goal was conference finals.
Oh, is that the goal?
I thought that would have been
That would have been
an
respectable.
admirable goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
How
this
about the
series
Oilers,
went
man? Do
to
you
6 or
think
7, would that have been respectable? Would that have been different?
No. To be honest, this year, like shit lined up for them. If they could play up to their potential, they had a solid path to the finals. They fucked up.
How about the Oilers, man?
Oh, yo, did you see McJesus' face after?
Mm-hmm.
Pissed. He's got 2 years left.
Yeah, exactly. How much longer do I gotta wait? I don't.
Yeah, you can't take that any longer, man.
Can you combine him with Matthews, or are they always going to be like rivals?
No, you can combine them, but hockey doesn't do that. It's not basketball. People have like,
Those super teams.
yeah. Charles Barkley. He's an interview coming out, but I heard this like bit of it.
The Leafs are done.
No, he was talking about how like there's a Winnipeg player who got hit in the face during the game, took 75 stitches, and came back. He said if a basketball player did that, he'd retire, right? They got 75 stitches during a game, they'd retire. It's kind of funny because that sport is soft as fuck.
I mean, there was a thing from Steve Nash ages ago during that finals run that they were pushing back in the early 2000s, where he had this huge hard foul, had to go back get stitches in the third quarter, literally came back in the fourth. And in an interview, they're asking him, they're like, you kind of came back quick with that nose plate and a bunch of stitches. He's like, bro, my brother-in-law plays hockey. You think he's going to let me live it down if I didn't come back to the game after that?
Yeah.
So,
I remember like these guys I heard another pod talking about it. How about Paul Pierce? I think it was Paul Pierce left
because he took a shit in his
in a
pants.
wheelchair.
He shit his pants.
He came back.
He faked an injury. Because he had to go relieve himself.
Sometimes biological breaks happen.
No, but it's faking the injury is the best part.
I mean, he just took a book out of what was that wrestler, the dentist or something. This guy got
Isaac Yankem.
Isaac Yankem. Yeah, he had that notorious
Yankem.
bring out a brown stretcher because he just shit his pants.
Yeah, no, it's not a tough sport, but yeah, man, I feel Oilers. That's a tough one too. But fuck every other team in Canada except the Leafs.
Canadian team, man. Yeah, I thought this was the year.
No.
Yeah, no.
Leafs are nothing. I don't want any other market to win in Canada.
Any
I
comments on
could care
Seattle?
less. Seattle's lost.
They just lost.
Oh, did they just lose?
Dallas just won.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole thing on what if Seattle wins this? Is it like the greatest run for a first year team?
Vegas,
No, because Vegas did it already.
Did
Vegas
they?
did it.
Yeah, they did it for
Vegas
sure.
go?
Colorado won in their expansion year as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then I guess it wouldn't be as near a big.
I think they get. I think they get a lot of advantages when they open up in terms of trades, don't they? Is that why they get in? They can build a pretty good roster. Yeah.
They get made pretty competitive pretty fast.
Yeah.
Well,
so that's the
it
advantage.
wasn't-
Not as quick as Seattle did, or Vegas did, but still, like you're looking at like 3 to 5 years.
Wasn't Colorado already kind of pre-built? They just moved all the pieces as
Yeah.
like it wasn't a complete rebuild. It was we have a great team, and then as soon as they leave, they make a. That's gotta hurt Quebec though. We had a Stanley Cup team here, and
Nordiques.
well. All right. On that note, thank you all for listening. As always, be sure to comment. I don't know. Do we have a question of the week? No one really pays attention. I don't think too many people make it out this far. If you make it out this far,
So give us a challenge. Golf's not a challenge.
at least not for me. I'm not even. I mean, I guess the challenge for me is, can I walk 5 kilometers? We struggle to make that and meet. So
Maybe just
Yeah.
actually do
give us a real challenge. Like, who can eat the most pizzas?
oh god, no.
That's something I'm ready for. I
I'm
feel like I
ready
can
for
actually be
that.
competitive.
Bring it.
Bring it. But yeah, if you make it this far in the podcast, give us a shout, give us a comment on Twitter or something. Just let us know that you're still out there. But till next week, or probably 2 weeks. I like the bi-weekly. We get a little bit more what topic range, unless it's like
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But
It's
We'll
the
be back.
summer. Forgive
No,
us.
Yeah.
no, it should be bi-weekly. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it should.
we might be bi-weekly for most of the summer, anyways. So
Bi-monthly, bi-yearly. We're on track.
one day we'll have like a full-on studio.
Yes. One day.
Till then, peace.
Peace.